budget for fiscal year 2024 with a real estate tax rate of $8.25, 8.0825 per hundred. Does everybody have a copy of the budget proposal? I'm sure this is based primarily on this year's and projected as.
Yes. Based on last year's budget and what we spent and did not spend and things, new budget is based on that. Yeah. Sorry, I put it in the wrong order. That's all right. Hey, Clay.
Yes, I'm learning superintending county things. I'm Jennifer Campbell. I have to introduce myself. There's a couple bullet points that I wanted to highlight. The first, as I was going through the income, now I've kept track of the budgets. I've kept copies from the past few years, and I'm noticing a downward decrease in our DMV income, and I'm hoping that we can improve that this coming year with more awareness. So I think that, or suggest that we should make sure that we have monies to increase the DMV awareness, because I see that trend, we're losing business there of anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 in the last few years. So I just want to see us put effort towards increasing that, whether we need to do mailers or social media, whatever, to create more awareness for DMV, because that's a steady stream of income that's easy for the community. Second bullet point I had was that we've had Miranda's and Salsa Street closed, so that's going to affect our meals tax, not knowing what the future's going to bring, but if that whole block is being purchased, we need to be more realistic in what that meals tax income will be, because I think there's going to be some scrutiny, or don't know if there's going to be another business put in Miranda's. So I question the income there for meals tax. I also see that we have the DHCD grant of $20,000, and I think that there's an expiration date to that, so I want to ensure that we don't miss that opportunity, so that we're not losing that $20,000. And then as for another added expense, it is an election year, and regardless of who the winner will be, that there should be a setup for the new mayor to have just a consideration of funds to be allocated for trainings, if there's membership fees, publication fees, licensing, any of those transitional fees for new mayor-elect. We need to make sure we consider that in the budget as well. And that's all I have to say this time.
Cheryl, do you know if there, the statewide meetings and training for mayors and council, do they still have those post-COVID?
Most of the trainings and things that I get, there's some local that we go to the RRC and Culpeper and things, and there's some that we have that I go to in Charlottesville for some of the VDOT stuff and things. But most of the things, I would say 2/3 of everything now is done on the internet. Where you do through Teams or whatever thing they go through, but most all of them are through that. Now they do have some that you can go, but it's usually a 2 or 3 day event where you can spend the night and things and go.
Do you know where those general expenses?
I don't off the top of my head, but I can research it
I
and
know
see.
we wanted Roanoke back maybe moons ago.
And they still have that things there. They have one that Culpeper had asked me to go to, but we didn't have the funding for it and all this time, but hopefully next year. It is one they do for getting grants for small communities and things, so they have all kinds of different ones. A lot of the stuff you can get grants for. If you write a paper or something for it, they'll give grants and things for that, and it may be $1,000 that go toward your airfare, or it could be to your meals in your room, or whatever it may be. But all of them usually have a grant option for it also.
You know, the ones that you were talking about that we didn't have the funding for you to go to, how much funding are you talking about? Ballpark.
To be honest, I have it over there, and it's this fall, but I'm not sure even off the top of my head. I see so many of them, I can't remember, but I'll pull it up and check.
I think that's a very valid point, but should be.
And the DMV, if I can just make one comment on that. The main thing that's hurt on that, and we have increased people and doing, is when they opened up a lot of the stuff online after COVID, that was a killer to a lot of the DMVs. They did the new policy where we used to could do Madison forward, what's the other one across from it?
The dealers would drop off
Yeah.
stacks of titles for
Yeah,
us.
Madison Motors.
And they just do it online.
All those,
Even
that
from
if it's a dealer that does 100 cars or more, then you're not allowed to do it. The dealer has to process their own paperwork. So we can do it for someone like Sure Shot down here or ABC Autos, people who don't sell that many cars a year. But the majority of your money went to the state to be able to do it.
Okay,
So if the dealers do it, it'll go straight to the state.
okay. Have you noticed an increase since COVID of just residential or, personal people coming in doing their tags, or is the walk-in traffic declined as well? Has it picked back up since COVID?
Yeah, I think in the last 6 months, since we're asking people when they come in to make sure they come here to come back to us and things, and because we have so many people who come in, we say I'm never going to do online again because you might renew your plates and you don't get your stickers in the mail. So then when they come in here, it's only $1 or $2 or $3 depending on what they've lost in the mail. But then they still have to do it again. So a lot of people are coming now because there are so many mistakes and things over the DMV website now. So that's picked back up a lot. One of the things that we're in the process of doing and they're working on is we make a lot of money for the people who do dump trucks, the trailers, and any business like that with the big vehicles.
And we've never marketed to any of those businesses.
We haven't in the past, but I started just like at nights in the home or in here if I'm on a webinar and you're listening to it, but you can do other stuff. We started making a list of a lot of the loggers and different things where we can do a flyer and we can mail to those people, because we even still have people come in and say, I never knew you were here until such and such told me. Then on the other hand, you have people come in and say, no, I'm not telling anybody because I like coming in and not being a line. So, yeah, so you have it work both ways, but that was the majority of the businesses.
Okay.
Not only did we lose it, but a lot of other people did too.
Okay,
Just
thank
go
you.
back through the contract and be sure what they are allowing for advertising now, because they did have heavy restrictions that you couldn't do anything.
They do.
And so we need to be careful not to run afoul of that.
No,
Well, they
we
have to
always,
approve 'em.
we have to just, whatever we make up or we do, we have to send it to them and they approve it. So we already working on that with them. And we have where the signs outside are old and kind of faded and things. We have a new one of those coming for all the side out here. But we also, they're giving us one to put under the town office sign out here. You may have to move it up an inch if they can't fit it under the bottom of it. But that sign will go up there and it'll be a little bit more visible from the road. And they're sending 2 of the ones out for Main Street where it's DMV this way and DMV that way, where you can see it coming in and things. So yeah, so we've got a lot of things coming and things now that we have a little bit more free time. And when the ladies have been slow, I'm getting them to help research and doing things. So it's getting there just slowly.
When I bought a car, it's been years, I specifically didn't have them do the title work to bring it in here. They weren't allowed to handle it here, I had to go to Culpeper.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah. No, I just wanting to make sure that we are doing something. It sounds like they're doing a good job of making use of the time. Let's make sure we're doing something to increase awareness to attract more income. If not, do we need to perhaps assess an advertising budget of some sort to make that happen? So I didn't know if you needed to add a fee for that expense, because that is something the town really can't afford to go backwards on.
So we do have it in the budget, but it's only $1,000 for this coming
And
year.
that's solely for the DMV?
Yes,
Okay.
the town advertising is a little bit more, but that's for the notices and things of public hearings and such.
Okay. All right. I did have one more to add, if you don't mind, and that is, I noticed your website fee is dropped from, we're down to, where did I see that again? It went from 5,000 to 2,000. And my question is, I know that we had plans to have online bill pay on the website and to get the website up. And I know we have a pretty website. It's not as fleshed out, I think, as most of us would like. But does the $2,000 for the upcoming year cover online bill pay expenses, or is there another fee for us to make sure we get online bill pay?
Well, what we did, for that is Charles and them have a lot of that already worked on in our first of the $5,000 budget. We're just on some of the things we're waiting on Maynard to give us, like, we've added a few more things on the website, but some of the things we can't put on there because we have to find out what the actual rules and guidelines are for that. Say, for instance, if we put our minutes up from the night we have the meeting, we have to have the minutes signed and then downloaded and on the website. And right now, I don't know if I can do that part and get it on there in those 7 days till we get it caught up a little bit more. But some of the bill pay and different things, I think is gonna be covered under that.
Okay.
But we can't add any of the other small things that we have ready, like forms and different things. You've been helping me with redoing some of those for the website. But we want it, it's gonna be set up to where they could pay their auto decals, they can pay their, taxes. If they wanna come in and they wanna do a town permit, whatever they wanna do, it would do it online, and then I'd be notified in my email that somebody's done it, so you'll have to check it 100 times a day.
So then you're saying that the previous 5,000 that we've already allocated has been utilized to cover all of those?
No, not all of it.
For the
Not
majority,
all
but
of
will
it.
the 2,000 cover anything that wasn't applied?
Now that I don't know yet.
Okay, because I'm
Yeah.
concerned that that may not be enough if we still need to add those features.
Okay.
That's what my concern is.
Yeah, so that, I'm not exactly sure if it'll cover all of it or not.
Okay, thank you.
But I know that they did a lot of the planning, and their part they're doing now is they have to have that second person or business that the credit cards and all run
Right.
through. That's what the processing is, what they're working on now.
Okay, thank you.
I'll add one note that we, like, we're for collecting a taxpayer, we have to collect 100% of the taxpayer. So anyone paying online will have to pay the processing fee in addition to the taxpayer. So all the processing fees would be paid by the consumer or user. That's how the state does it all.
That's pretty standard for all the taxes.
That's how all governments do it, yeah.
Just don't count on that as income, because that's an expense still.
But we'll never see the processing fee, I'm not sure how we'll account for it next year.
It'll be, I assume, like the fire department grant a pass.
If it shows in the budget, it'll be like that, in and out.
So I'm hoping, Jennifer, we can, once Maynard, that's next on our list, for him to get us that information, and once he does and we get it to them, now, once the budget's done, then we can get some of that going and things. I'd like to have it up before taxes come due, and we mail the bills out in October, so.
Wonderful.
Any other comments from the public? If not, I will close the public comment and close the budget public hearing. Continue the regular meeting of town council. Next would be review and approval of the minutes of the joint public hearing, May 2nd, 24. Regular meeting minutes.
make a motion to accept the minutes of the May meeting.
I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as presented, say aye. Nancy?
Aye.
William?
Aye.
I will.
Aye.
Motion carries, minutes are approved as presented. Brings us to the financial report. Do we have a motion?
I make the motion that we accept the, financial statement from May.
A motion to accept and approve the financial statement for May as presented. Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. William?
Aye.
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
Motion carries. Report is accepted. Let's do the Board of Supervisors update. How are you doing this
Oh,
evening?
very well, very well. Glad to see summer and some rain. We got our bids back on the EMS building, and you gotta bear with me, I apologize not being here last month. Got the bids back on the EMS building, real attractive numbers, actually lower than we thought. Still crazy expensive, but lower. We've accepted that bid and we're proceeding with that project. It'll take a while to get there, but it should be a good home and it'll quit us from renting across the street and have something permanent that actually gives us some room to expand in the far off future, hopefully. Hoover Ridge, the bids came back on phase 1 on that. We've rejected all those bids at this point. We just received 2. Phase 1 we anticipated costing us $700K or actually $900K. But we pulled the engineering off, so we were expecting 700. It came back, the low bid was 1.7. The other bid, which we don't really understand, we kind of think it was the people were bidding on the whole project. It came back at 3.9. So we're going to go back, kind of revisit that, try to figure out priorities and directions, and kind of go at it in a different way and rebid it. Timeliness of bidding. Putting bids out is real big. When we did the primary school, we put that bid out right at, I guess it would have been 1st of January roughly, when people were booking business. Hoover Ridge was put out at the wrong time, I think. I think everybody's got a lot of business, everybody's busy beyond belief. They just kind of threw numbers at a dartboard and said, let's see if this will stick, and we're going to do something different. Next month we've got Planning Commission, we've got the comp plan. We'll be going through, it'll be third Wednesday of the month, we'll go through it for the first time really as a planning commission and then the board liaisons. They'll work on it for a couple months and then it'll come to us and we'll play with it too. It looks real good. It's interesting, I guess it's sad being involved as long, seeing multiple renditions of it. This one is the most user-friendly yet. And each time it just keeps getting better and better and better. And it is a document that people hopefully will use against us, and can read and kind of understand Madison in a little bit better way. Sticking with Planning Commission, we've got public hearings next month. We're trying to tighten up auto graveyard definitions and junkyards, and lo and behold, we have a definition for trash heap. You're allowed to, yeah, who would have thought? You're allowed to have a 100 square, after the hearing, you'll be allowed to have a 100 square foot trash heap. Anything more will be restricting. It's basically kind of put some teeth on this thing. If you have 5 cars
Do you need
or
a cubic foot?
yeah,
Do you need a cubic foot on that?
10 by 10. That's about as much as we can
just
do.
keep on stacking.
Yeah, well, I was thinking pyramid. We debated about a 200 square feet, and that was interesting. I thought we'd reach for a new low, but we're going to see how it goes and go from there. But we don't see them often. I was thinking about it last night, and I remember Miss Roach going up the road and watching Man Up the Street, and I always thought that was good stories. We don't see them real often, but it is something that people should clean up their junk. And farm machinery and farming is completely exempt, as it should be. Just a bunch of junk lying around the county isn't good for anybody. Doing that one, we're doing boundary line adjustments, which has been a big thing. Trying to get the process in order so that there has to be approval from the county, which is all administrative, and then it should be recorded at the courthouse. It shouldn't be vice versa, and then people trying to get, and I don't think it's happening often, but people trying to get ahead of the thing and trying to add division rights and things. That's not the intended purpose of a boundary line adjustment or an abandonment of a boundary line. The last one is parking, and be quite frank about it, it is just on the basis of Dr. Vega and his potential to put out a site out at Wyland's property. It needed to be addressed anyway. We had too many parking spaces required based on just practical development. We've cut that back a little bit. We'll see if anybody has anything to say about it at the public hearing. I kind of doubt it. It seems like we've come up with something that's more realistic. We've reduced the parking spots by, I guess, 25%. 3 per examination room. It should be a pretty easy deal. We got, and then we have another public hearing next week, which should be exciting, on what to do with the swinging bridge. VDOT certainly does not want to be in the swinging bridge business. Turns out nonprofits also do not want to be in the swinging bridge business. We'll see how nostalgic it is for Madison County. VDOT says they'll pay to fix it or upgrade it to a level of acceptability. And then we would have to, basically the county would have to take it over. That comes with some hurdles and problems, and I want to say maintenance cost, even though I think VDOT spent more money on putting up the signs than they had spent in 20 years of maintenance on the dang thing. But that's okay too. We'll see what everybody says. The sheriff's office did get 2 SRO grants from the, I guess, state. That'll put SRO officers in every school. We'll see if we can. We've got a good group of them. I think everybody sees the value in it. It's good to have one full time at every school, and it seems like, I mean, we all see Mr. Dillon down the street and directing traffic, and that's the kind of positive influence we want to see in the schools. You know, I mean, he's just such a great guy. EMS transport, we increased the soft billing fees. It's all going directly to insurance companies. And then if people don't have insurance, we're not collection agent, none of that at all. We're just kind of getting it up to where all the other localities are. And what's an ambulance cost now? It takes 30 months to get an ambulance. $475,000. It is just a
30-month back.
yeah. Yeah, that's how long we're ordering ones for 2 years from now. It is outrageous. Fire trucks, thank God we got the volunteers. They're spending like 1.2 on fire trucks, which is just speaks so highly of them and the community supporting them. We're doing a whole bunch of speed studies. It seems like, I don't know, every road in Madison, I'm not helping things at all. We're all speeding. Beautiful runs on the list, Ellie Road's on the list. There was another one we added the other night. We'll see what they come back with and go from there. I don't think there's a whole lot you can do about it. I mean, we'll increase, the sheriff's department does a great job on enforcement. Look at what they've done over at 15. Hopefully that's slowed down some of those people and all the accidents over there. They'll continue patrolling, but I mean, everybody's got to be a good citizen and try to keep their eyes on the road and speeds down. That's about it. Thank you.
I will open the floor to public comment. Anybody would like to say anything from the public? Hearing none, I will close the public comment section. And we have Elma Lou's appointment on the planning commission.
No, is it I forgot to look. I think it's, excuse me, what's that? I forgot she had two.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Sorry, just reminder, we have the county, or the parade coming up in July. So it gives us about 45 days to make sure our streets and sidewalks are safe. I know there's a lot of wires hanging by poles and things. I don't know what we need to do to clean up utilities, but I know we'll have attractions and people in town. We need to make sure our walkways are good and clear.
And let's see, we've already got the request for closing the street for the parade. That's already.
Yes, I thought we did that last month.
That's what I thought, but I just want to be sure it wasn't for road memory.
Yeah, we have these new cables that are rounded up and hanging by poles. I don't know what that is, but I don't know if we need to.
Is that part of Fireflies?
I don't know, and I'm seeing red tape everywhere.
It may be Firefly, also may be the backbone going to the EMS, like they've pulled a lot of that, but I mean, Firefly came to us, and talked to us maybe a month ago or something, and the amount of people they've mobilized into Madison, I mean, several hundred linemen, the majority of that's on the, not directly in town, so I don't.
Because there was a fellow on Church Street the other day, and I went up and chatted with him, and he was looking at poles and which ones they were gonna have to replace and raise for Firefly.
That's the make-ready work. I do. That's
So I don't know
crazy.
if any of that had to do with them or not, but probably true.
Some of that wire's been hanging for some time.
Yeah.
That one ran into mobile, and I think it's another one up.
They're replacing mine now,
Yeah, and there's a loose cable.
down on Smith Street.
That cable loop that's been there for a year or more.
There's a cable, there's also just a cable that drops down by the pole, and sometimes you see it run across the sidewalk and you can walk under it or step over it, and past where the old handcraft house was, right, that next house, I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it, but there's just some loose cables laying
Yeah, it
around.
looks like
Just need to clean
an
it up.
Xfinity cable.
I just know the parade's coming, gives us, good 30 or 45 days to get some action, clean it up, keep our citizens safe.
We just did that, was it last month? So we don't need to do that. Got renewed for 4 years.
Consider that done. Closed session this evening for any other business to come before council this evening?
Yes.
We have one piece of new business, which isn't exactly new, but we didn't have it on the agenda early. The town approved and agreed to the contract for the grant from DHCD. And we're working with the Rappahannock Regional Commission. And So they had sent a contract, a simple agreement, memorandum of agreement actually, which, you know, I reviewed a little while back, and that I had a follow-up call with them today, and they agreed to this one with a couple of revisions I proposed. So we have it before you if you wish to take action on it, and you'll see the thing that says memorandum of agreement. It's just a very simple outline of basically.
Yes, another one.
Give me a moment. It just outlines some expectations between the town and the commission. The town will be compensating the commission for work they do out of the grant funds. One of the changes I made was to have the commission agree to prepare reports to try to save Ms. Yao some time. So they'll have a draft report, but we, as the town, have to formally submit them. And then basically, the rest of it is pretty much working together to move the project forward. The second half there is what the commission's agreeing to do. They're providing support, consultation. They will take primary responsibility for doing surveys and collecting data that needs to be done and drafting the documents that need to be produced per our contract with DHCD. And that stuff's on the attached chart at the last page. Project deliverables. There has to be basically, we've got what they call the managing team has been assembled. So there'll be some meetings with the management team, some engagement with the public. Commission will help with all that. They will perform the SWOT analysis, community assessment, things that they have to do. And then at the end, there's some sort of basic plan with goals, objections for physical improvements to the town that'll come out of this. And I have to update the dates on the agreement, but you know, changes are minor from what they had proposed. What I did on the dates is it's an agreement through July 30th, which is the deadline for the grant work to be done, July 30th, 2025. And I did leave it in there that this could be extended to December 31st because there's probably a possibility of some extensions, or this grant we turn into work, we may get additional funding, and I wanted to have the flexibility in there to kind of keep our relationship going with them a little longer. But it's pretty simple. Like I said, it's really just sort of an outline between the two parties.
It's basically, it's quick and easy, the agreement to get the $20,000 planning grant, which they're going to administer.
Well, we've already signed the contract with DHCD for the grant. That was done a couple months ago.
That was a few months ago.
And so this is just the contract with,
RRRC.
yeah, so that they will do the work for us, yeah.
Okay, so
And I
all
kind of pressed them.
all as originally anticipated.
And I kind of pressed them to pick up a little more of the work.
So yeah, it's stating what
Make
part
it
of the
easier
work
for
they'll
you.
actually do.
Yeah. I was trying to make it a little easier for you. And, but they were on board. It was a nice discussion. Patrick's always good to work with. Hopefully this grant will lead to larger funding.
We have a motion to enter into the memorandum of understanding and agreement.
That's so moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. I'm Blue.
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
William?
All right.
Motion carries. We will enter into the agreement.
Then we need to talk about
Now that was done,
I just pulled it for her to show what we did last year.
yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't have that. Sorry.
That's all right. Just sign off and make everything.
And you just found a copy for me.
Anything else to come before council this evening? If not, do we have a motion to recess?
Meeting.
What was it, 20?
Yes.
at 5:30.
24th at 5:30.
So this meeting will be continued.
To recess until
What's the date and time?
June 24th at 5:30 p.m.
I'll put it on there so everybody knows.
We will recess and reconvene to adopt the budget with any changes needed, which I think we've outlined what we need to do on that. We just have to come up with some figures and make it work. So we will see those who can on June 24th.